A new wave has formed for Season 2, an epic tour that ends with a new legacy. The OGs are back, ready to defend their legacy, while fresh meat joins the competition, eager to make their mark. Who is willing to battle door to door and conquer 2024? Buckle up, because the season of a lifetime is among us.
Here we go. Who's going to get the better restart? As we come on lap 100. For second, gonna go around. This could be the big one. Hey, four wide in Texas. Time falls back. Bacon, there's another bump. There's another hit. Cox in the Miranda. Tate's gonna steal one here in Nashville. Are you kidding me?
It's a brand new season in the No Limit Racing Sim Rap Market Series. 18 races, all beginning tonight at Daytona, and so many miles to travel along the way. A half-length NASCAR season, roughly half-length races, but full fun factor all starts now. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Daytona Beach, Florida. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Scott Shive alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the No Limit Racing Sim Rap Market Series. Tonight's coverage of the Butt Kicker 250 from Daytona is brought to you by No Limit Racing, by Sim Rap Market, by all series partners, and tonight's presenting partner, the Butt Kicker. You get a look there at the series partners on your screen, and Scott, this is a special one. It always is. When you open a season at Daytona, it just feels so right. No matter the capacity, no matter the series, it just feels right to open things up with the palm trees and high banks here at Daytona Beach. This is the place to do it. This is the place to get things started, and it feels just so much greater when you get to do it on these high banks. No matter who goes to victory lane today, they're going to be feeling something special.
Couldn't agree more. Daytona, everyone knows it. It is infamous. It is the speedway to be at, especially for a series like this with the Cup Series with No Limit Racing tonight. We're expecting some crazy action. Daytona, we know it well. We know what it produces here. The 2.5 mile oval, 200 plus miles an hour, 55 mile per hour pit limit speed. So it's going to be great tonight. We're going to have some great action out here on track, as everyone knows that knows Daytona.
Let's take a look at the series schedule for season number 2 for these guys. Daytona kicks things off this evening. Next week, we're out to Bristol Motor Speedway. Then it's Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for 34 laps on October 23rd. We break into November with Las Vegas. Then Charlotte and Iowa cap things off in the 11th month of the year. Finally, Atlanta, New Hampshire, and Indianapolis coattail the first half of the season in the remainder of the calendar year of 2024. Breaking into 2025, we go to Darlington, we go to Pocono, we go to Richmond to settle things up for the series playoffs. We open the playoffs at St. Louis at Gateway, then it's off to Miami and Talladega, finally a road course in this playoff schedule at Sonoma, then Kansas and the big track at California Auto Club Speedway to settle things in March. It's going to be a long grind for these guys. 18 races all told, a lot of laps, a lot of miles along the way. I'm sure we'll see some spills, we'll see some thrills. It's going to be a fun time.
I'm really excited about this because personally, this is probably what's going to be able to carry me through the off-season for NASCAR, because I'm going to be crying in my room because there'll be no racing. But hey, sim racing lasts all the time. We can always hop in the sim. That's one thing I love here, and so I'm definitely going to be hanging on to this, Andrew, for definitely my pillow to keep me through the off-season of the real racing.
Clutching to some SWM Series action for sure. No Limit Racing has it all for us this offseason in the NASCAR Cup Series and, NASCAR Series in general and Racing Series in general. When things go dark, iRacing keeps things light. But let's get into the iRacing.com sim and take a look at weather conditions first off for these guys in race number 1 of the season. Look at that, 82 degrees in the air, partly cloudy, track temp about 102 degrees. It's a little bit toasty down there, but that shouldn't affect these guys too bad. Handling won't be a major concern for these guys. This next-gen car is rather planted, big wide tires, a lot of aero devices, if you will, to settle the car down and sink it down onto the speedway. These guys should be really left to their own devices and able to just race this one out.
These drivers have got to be excited, Andrew. We had the duels last week, and that set up the lineup for today. But these guys have been ready for Daytona since a while back, and they're ready to start out this season. Probably really excited. Talking about that track temp, going to make it a little slick, probably. But like you said, this car very nailed into the ground with its modern aero, and we've got the diffuser, the big tall spoiler for Daytona for speedway tracks. So this car is going to feel good. These guys are going to feel confident, especially as we go on to this race. Track will probably get a little cooler, set with the time of day we are in the sim. So these guys, with the track getting a little cooler and everything going on, I think they're going to get a little bit more confident, and that's going to lead to probably some mistakes.
Let's see how things get started this evening then. First up, the Whiplash SimCam's race details. It's a 100-lap race, 4 change sets in the pit lane, 5 total. 65% fuel should carry these guys for about 25 laps. Fixed setups, no fast fix available, up to 3 green-white checkers if we need it. We'll talk more about those and everything else along the way. Let's meet our starting grid. 43 cars strong. Yes, 43 cars strong, bigger than a NASCAR Cup Series field. Matthew Taylor rolls off in the 44 car from pole position this evening. Holden McGill will start from second. Starting third will be Anthony Massotti, Grant Peterson from fourth. Grant Peterson, Anthony Massotti, they won. Actually, Matthew Taylor won his dual race. Grant Peterson won his dual race. Michael Moultrie will start from fifth spot. Austin McColgan from sixth. And in Mendenhall, Joseph Tucker, seventh and eighth. And finally, to complete your top 10, it'll be Dalton Tucker, reigning champion, and Russell Black.
Back there in 11, we'll have the 3 of Daniel Wiles alongside Barrett Morton. Then we'll have Jeremy B. Brown, a rookie in this series for the season, and then Matthew Correa on the outside. Then the 89 of Ian McD Brashfield, and then we'll have Kevin West to his outside. In 17th, the 61 of Spencer Ray, and in 18th, the 82 of Brian Wirtz. Then in 19th, we'll have the 77 of Jackson Sparks, and in 20th, rounding out your first half of the field, is that 24 of Sean Lodison.
There was one driver that had to scratch, that was the pole sitter, but the rest of the field will go on by on the graphic on your screen. Some highlights definitely going to include Zach Millett there in row number 11, and there will be plenty of others throughout the field as the pace truck and field rolls past us on the back straightaway, the Daytona Super Stretch as it's called. You'll see all kinds of drivers here in the full lineup of, again, 43 drivers. You might even roll into the very start of the race. That's okay. Let that go through. Check out where your favorite driver is starting this race. It is going to be a long one. 100 laps here on the high banks. What else can we expect here?
It's Daytona. We talked about chaos. We can expect chaos. I expect these drivers in the first half of this race to remain calm. I expect these guys know we've got a 100-lap feature here tonight. They know that we've got 100 laps to go. That's a long time here at Daytona, just over 45 seconds a lap. So they're going to have a good long while to get settled and get everything dialed in. I expect in the back half of this race, like I said, for it to get a little chaotic. These guys are going to get a little bit more bold, a little bit more they're going to get a little bit more confident in what they're going to want to do and the moves they're going to want to make. And like I said, I think that's going to lead to some driver errors. And that's what we expect at a place like here in Daytona with the Speedway, with almost 200 miles per hour in these cars. But above all else, I'm expecting great racing here today, Andrew.
Series admins did us a solid right there, gave us an extra pace lap just so we could get everything in here in pre-race. There's a lot to talk about when a series gets going like this. There is just so much to try and consider, so much to try and go through as we watch from some of the fan perspectives around the Speedway under this, what should be the final pace lap before we go green. This just helps build the excitement, build the hype a little more. This, of course, also means these guys are burning a little bit more fuel. They have to manage that under this pace lap. Something else to talk about as we can look at those Whiplash SimCam's race details one more time. That 65% fuel load with no stages in this race, that means they have to work the race in reverse. From the end of the race, making sure they have fuel at the end, plus green, white, checkered fuel if needed, to the start of the race. We're going to see some interesting differences in pit strategy, I think. We're going to see some drivers stay out as long as they can, some drivers pit a little bit early, and we saw in the dual races as well, Scott, I know you weren't there, but we saw very interesting strategies unfold where some drivers were actually able to gain an advantage by pitting sooner, getting back on the racetrack and back into formation and going as fast as they possibly can. They executed well, they got in and out of the pit lane quick, and that's what worked for them. Holden McGill won the race as a result.
Well, that's one of the huge things here at Daytona with Speedway racing. Getting on off pit road, getting with your group, that is one of the key details to surviving and getting in the position to win this race here today, Andrew.
The field works off of the banking there in turns 3 and 4. This should be the time that we go racing. For No Limit Racing, for SimRat Market, for all of the partners with this series, Apex Sim Racing, IMB Racewear, Moza Racing, RS Button Boxes, Team Conti, Trackbar Media, The Butt Kicker, Extreme Graphics, and CyberEdge Hosting. This is it. Into the Geico restart zone. From a fan perspective on the front straightaway, we go green flag at Daytona and for season number 2. Down the Daytona Super Stretch for the first time, you see a couple of moves being made, and that is Matthew Taylor leading the race. Holden McGill pops up, and things are actually changing. Taylor's sinking back. Timing and scoring is lagging on me. There we go. Masadi's leading the race. That was the 49 car I saw moving around. He's going to take the charge in front of Holden McGill. Grant Peterson on the outside, and lap 1 will go complete this time by.
Double file here, staying 2 by 2 all the way back. We've got a 4-car lead out there on the outside line. Will guys start to move up, or will the bottom line stay strong here and try to make a run? Now 5 cars up single file in the top lane.
There's nothing quite like seeing a full field of NASCAR Cup Series cars in the high banks at Daytona. This absolutely scratches that itch that we've been having since February, right? I mean, this is just absolute perfection in the sunlight during the day, ready to go racing. 2 laps complete this time by 100. We've got a long ways to go. Just watching from these static shots, seeing the field develop a little bit, it's interesting to note the top side might be the place to go today. That's not been the case usually in sim racing at Daytona or Talladega. Usually it's pack racing, or you get a single file around the bottom maybe, but to be single file around the top side, that has been a rarity over the years in iRacing, but it might be reality here tonight.
It's just the place to be. We've seen it a lot as these races go on, especially at super speedways, especially in the sim. I've seen it a lot more in the sim than we have really in real life. Guys will move up to the top. Just, it's a better line. I think in the sim, just the way these cars work, I know you can stay double file, but everyone likes to gravitate towards the top, and they always do. And here we are. Bottom line is fading, Andrew.
Fading and fading fast is that bottom line. You got your top 6 or so now completely clear, maybe even 7 almost through the corner. Now coming back to him, Jeremy Brown is the first car that's doubled up, and he runs in the 8th spot. So your top 6 are completely clear of the bottom lane right now and could drop down at any point in time. That said, again, the top is just the place to be. It's a little bit faster. It's a little more secure for these guys. They like having that security of the outside wall for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know the science behind it. It's just better.
Yeah, me either. Look, and now the bottom line, a few guys filled in the gap, so it's a little more shown than it was a minute ago, but still, that top line is where most of your guys are. Matthew Taylor in that 44 started this race up front. He stayed on the bottom, stayed committed to it this entire time.
We did have a 3 wide there for a moment. That got sorted out deep in the pack. Everybody getting where they need to be. 1 car moving up. That looks to be Colin Terrell in the 20. No, that was the 88 rather, of Michael Matta. A lot of paint schemes to learn. We're going to learn them pretty quick, I think, as these races get going. But this first race at Daytona, it's a whole lot of learning who's who. For us as broadcasters, learning the different paint schemes, learning the different colors of cars and whatnot, the different numbers. It's a lot of learning. It's going to take us some time, but roll with us here as this season gets rolling. Now, lap 5 of 100.
I've enjoyed saying that I think no matter where you're from, I don't know what the deal is, but I think every race car driver, they either have the most simple name in the world or the most complicated name on the face of the planet. And you're usually going to find a great mix of both, no matter where you're going to go, no matter what series you're going to watch, broadcast, any of it. And so as a broadcaster, I love learning all the fun and funky names.
Matthew Taylor from Taylor & Taylor Motorsports. What a team name. A couple of Taylors racing over there at that team. That is one of the best I've ever seen. Rolling on the bottom side here, leading the way, was the pole sitter here today. Won that dual race a week ago. Doing a shift there. I heard him go from 4th to 5th, I think. I'm surprised by that. I would think in the draft they'd be stuck in 5th gear, but I'm pretty sure I heard a shift. And this is going to be a huge lunge into turn 3. Look at this momentum.
Must have been backing up for some momentum there. Matthew Taylor back to the lead here on the bottom. First time the bottom lane has led since the beginning, but now that top lane has momentum through the tri-oval.
That was Michael Moultrie getting that bottom car, that bottom lane going. The 29, definitely a solid pusher. That's what we're learning here early. The 29 is maybe the car to be in front of right now. Michael Moultrie got that 44 rolling in a hurry. That's going to bring Dalton Tucker on the bottom side, and Matthew Taylor has the opportunity now to jump up high and control that top lane. He's going to leave the 29 car in favor of the 49 of Masadi. I think that's a solid move, but is it too early?
Well, Michael Moultrie now back to the front here, being pushed by the 21 of Dalton Tucker. That bottom has great momentum. 4 cars break away on the bottom.
On board with Tucker, we'll see how the top line can do now. Taylor leading it. That's interesting to learn, interesting to note that the top line absolutely got anemic. Whoa, that was a big change. That was the 24 car of Sean Lodison trying to go high. There was not room. Spencer Ray gets up there, though, in the 61 car, now going to lead that very top lane. And Ray, you can see, backs up to the 44. So when a car takes over, it looks like it backs that top line up. That's surprising to me, but interesting to learn this early.
that really broke up that top line there, Andrew. Really got them out of sync with all of they were doing with the pushing in the draft. Really allowed that bottom line to sneak forward. 4 cars break away at the front, clear the top line. Now 5, almost 6.
Yeah, we're on board with Spencer Ray, and he is just sinking deeper and deeper alongside this bottom lane. You see 5 or so cars out ahead. That's the 96 alongside of him. That's Christian Light, I believe. His paint scheme might be a little bit outdated. But then Colin Terrell here on the 20 car from Panto Racing. And he's got a teammate right in front of him, Nathan Paris. Those teammates getting linked up early, that's going to be a potent combo. Anytime teammates get out front at Daytona, that's scary for the rest as the bottom side now checks up. Look at this run off the top for Spencer Ray.
Very impressive for Spencer Ray, leading up in that top line. That RC Cola car looking pretty and blue, trying to get back to the front with Matthew Taylor pushing.
On board with your race leader, Michael Moultrie. Lap 9 will be complete this time by. That's Dalton Tucker pushing the 29 car. Tucker just kind of lingering around, giving him a shot every once in a while, leaning back though. You don't want to get too aggressive with the pushing too early. Well, we saw some aggressive pushing with the NASCAR Cup Series at Talladega just a couple of days ago, right? You don't want to get too aggressive. You want to stay conservative, especially this early in the race. You don't want to wreck somebody here on lap 10 of 100.
No, not at all. I think these guys are being really good at being conservative. Obviously, we've had some moves here that have been a little dicey, but no one has been crazy. So I think these guys have been being real smart, knowing that we're only coming to complete lap 10 here. Really good and fresh through the field.
There goes the entire field. 3 wide, a little bit deeper in the group. I think that's Edward Jurgen in the 3 wide, maybe. Is it? We're learning that's the 17 car. That's going to be Matthew Correa, actually. Jurgen on the inside of that 3 wide, though. Correa moving forward in that 17 car in a hurry. I mean, he got a couple of rows there as there was almost some contact off the second corner. That was the 80 on the inside of Austin Cooper, bobbling around a little bit. And it's the 34 helping the 17. So Sean Boundy helping Matthew Correa go forward in the middle lane. Everybody else around them. The bottom's checking up to make sure they don't push too hard. The top is checking up to make sure they don't push too hard. This middle lane can get going.
You don't normally see that middle lane just paving its way through the middle. And right now, Matthew Correa is leading that charge, being pushed by the 34. 2 lanes have nothing against him. They're leaving the hole for him.
Oh, you see Holden McGill, though, come down a little bit. That top lane's getting smart. They're learning a little bit, starting to block that middle lane. They don't want to make it 3 wide at the front, but Correa would like to keep going through in this middle hole. I mean, if it works, it works, right? The Tasty Donuts 17 got rolling for a while, but he's hitting a bit of a roadblock.
Just kind of held here back in this 7th row. Only him and Boundy are left in this middle lane, but they are still pushing forward. The 2 of them staying strong here.
McGill is getting down and trying to block, and that's going to push the 17 maybe down to the bottom. No, McGill has to relinquish that spot, and now actually gets a draft, and there we go. The 17 is going to drop down low. I think admitting defeat in that fight as McGill drops down now. That's going to bring Masadi down to the 49 car and leave Grant Peterson up top, so the top lane is starting to fall apart.
Spencer Ray up there and our pole sitter of Matthew Taylor falling back right here in that top lane. Spencer Ray dives down trying to get to the bottom.
You know what I wonder? Are these guys getting ready to do an early pit stop? If everybody's flocking to the bottom, that usually tells me pits are on the way. I wouldn't think they'd have to pit this early. The 65% fuel should get them about 25 laps, I think. But to see everybody flocking straight to the bottom like this, that usually tells me pit stops are on the way.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, but this is just so early. I'm trying to think of a strategy. I think if you pit this early, you're guaranteeing yourself to have to pit 3 or 4 times. So I think if you stretch it out I think we're gonna have cautions later in this race. So I think you're gonna be able to absolutely pit no more than 3 times if you're going to wait out these cautions and save fuel later. So I'd be surprised if anyone comes and pits now.
Well, YouTube viewers, I can tell you we're going to have a driver of the day vote later in the broadcast. Make sure to get ready for that. Make sure to keep an eye on the YouTube chat. Around halfway, we'll start talking about it and nominate 4 drivers of our choosing to win a $25 IMB Racewear voucher. That's $25 they can put towards anything at IMB Racewear, and you can decide who gets it. We're going to nominate, like I said, 4 drivers to win it, and you get to decide who gets it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Something we don't usually do here at Pit Stop TV, but we do every once in a while. We've saved it for a lot of road racing as this topside came from nowhere. Look at this, Scott. The 6 car moving forward in a hurry. That is Christian Light in the 96/6. The 17 of Correa pushed him. Oh, nearly wrecks him out of turn 4. Oh, what a catch.
I was just about to mention him.
Yeah.
Because guess how many spots he's up from the start of this race? 31. 31 spots gained in 12 laps, or excuse me, 15 laps here.
32 now as he gets the top spot and nearly gets hooked there again by Correa. So on the ticker, what you'll see is positions gained the last time they passed the start-finish line. For Light, it was 32. Now it'll be about 30, 31, depending on where he crosses the stripe this next time around. Moultrie only gaining a couple of spots. Tucker only gaining a few. Correa gaining 11. You see Taylor down 3. Lodison up 11. Tucker down 1. Paris up 15. So you can kind of keep track with how much these guys have moved around in the field as a whole with that little extra data there on the ticker. And this time across the stripe, Light should go back to 32 positions gained as he's going to drop down low.
Dropping down low, and Matthew Correa up on that top lane with great momentum. Matthew Taylor right behind him.
That was close.
Goodness.
Correa tried to go low.
Right there.
Yeah, Correa tried to go low and realized that wasn't going to work. Had to bail back up to the top side.
Really? I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed by the stable driving by all these drivers. We've had a few close calls, but no incidents. None. And that is really impressive with a 40-plus car field here at Daytona. Very impressed, Andrew.
Scott, if we learned anything on Monday, you better get to knocking on wood because we started talking about cautions on Monday and we immediately had a yellow. So you better start knocking because the moment we start talking about it, these guys are going to find a way to crash. And don't believe me, they can find a way to crash your Daytona. It's easy to do. What's hard to do is keep racing as clean as they have been. So you're right. This is very impressive. Very good to see. This is really promising for the rest of the season. If they can run here cleanly, this is really, really promising for the rest of the year.
Fully agree. And look, now we're back. Two fully formed lines here. Double file all the way through the field. Big gap around the top 15 right there in the top line, but still, 2 double back all the way to the back.
Moultrie going to take over the top lane here on lap 18, now 19. He'll now command this race once again in front of Correa and drops down in front of Light. Love these static shots. It shows you the speed. Watch this. Hey, wait for it. There they go. Just shows you the utter speed, man. And this is a good one, too. Watch this. There they go.
Hey, that's one you can't get in real. That's one thing I do love about iRacing and online racing is on a broadcaster producer perspective, there's some shots you can get in here that you could never get in real life with real racing. And man, they are so awesome.
I think you could do the backstretch one. I've seen them do it before. You have to cut a hole in the pavement. Anyways, we'll save that for another day as we're on to lap 20. And Correa is going to take over the race lead once again with help from pole sitter Matthew Taylor. That's also going to bring the 89 of Brasfield up, that very colorful car, and Correa gets jacked up loose by the 44, tries to get back up in line, and is going to meet the sucker hole.
Stuck in the middle. He is going to go all the way to the back. I was so impressed by Correa and all he did to get back up front, and now there is no stopping it. No one's going to jump out to save him. Correa is falling fast through the field after one small mistake.
And that scare about pit stops clearly wasn't much of a scare. I think it was just everybody trying to flock to the bottom, maybe set themselves up for pit stops later as Masadi checks up big time. That's going to hold up the entire bottom lane. He was trying to let the 17 car in to avoid being put 3 wide. So it's admirable for sure, but that backs up the entire bottom lane and really changes things up even at the front of the field because that top side kept their momentum. The bottom side lost it.
Well, luckily for Correa, he only fell. He fell just inside the top 20, so not all the way to the back, but definitely far back from where he was a moment ago. But man, that top line breaking apart here, back with big separation in the mid-pack.
Whoa, a swerve there from Tucker, the 39 car. Joseph Tucker going to take over here. And that Toyota Camry went high, then went low, broke the ankles of the 44 of Matthew Taylor. That was impressive stuff. High, then low, attic to basement, and to the race lead.
Joseph Tucker just been hanging tight right here within the top 10 of all race long, or almost to the quarter of the way here. And there he is in that gray and purple 39, leading the way here on the bottom line. Bottom line getting good momentum out of 2 here.
On board of Russell Black, he's going to try and get Taylor going again in the 44 car. Was running in about the 4th spot.
Taylor and Taylor. It sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's what it reminds me of. I love it. It's great.
Black gonna ditch the top side and go down low, and Taylor's gonna go with maybe, possibly, thinking about it, and there we go. He's gonna decide to go down low for sure. That's gonna bring the 01 car now of Kevin West on the outside lane, the TikTok machine, and that lead. Well, that momentum he had is going to last about as long as the TikTok. He got going and immediately fell right back.
And here we go. Bottom is stacking up. Earlier at the beginning of the race, we saw everyone was migrating to the top. Then it broke apart. We had double file all the way back. Now, 10 cars deep. We're on the bottom lane. Everyone wants to get to the bottom now.
Pit stops. That's why. This time, I think it's accurate.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably why.
Yeah. We were coming up on that lap 25 mark. There's one car dipping out. That was Dalton Tucker. He's not pitting, but he dipped out for a moment. Yeah, these guys are getting ready for pit stops now, properly.
Yeah.
This is why they're all flocking down to the very bottom lane. You can see Spencer Ray back there. There's one car that sticks out to me. You can catch that metallic blue from anywhere. He has gone from the race lead all the way back here to 26th spot, and he's brought Masadi, Wirtz, and the 52 of Peterson. They've all dropped back, just playing it safe, playing it conservative, and wanting that bottom for pit stops.
Not a bad move. We saw Christian Light go from almost 30th all the way to the lead within 15 laps. So it's not a bad call for Spencer Ray and others to drop to the back like that. You're going to have plenty of time later on to get to the front. Everybody's dropping on the brakes heavy. Is anyone going to spin? Or are we going to all be clean? Half the field's coming.
A clean first go-around. Look at all the cars that just came in. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe 10 cars just pitted all at once. And that is a quarter of the field, a little bit less than actually. That leaves a lot of cars to pit this next time around. A lot of cars.
It does. I would definitely want to be within this first group. Because 10 is a good number. Not too crazy on entry, but man, that big banking off of turn 4, that really narrows and bottlenecks into pit lane really fast. Let's see how this worked out. Let's see who's coming this time.
Here come a whole bunch more. I see, the Panto Racing bunch. That was real close for a moment.
He gets slow enough. It looks to be at the proper speed.
And they're trying to get in their boxes. Christian Light had to swerve down in front of several cars. That's always so difficult. One Panto car into the wall. Oh my gosh. Pit stop chaos here.
For the first round of green flag pit stops, I'd say this isn't going too terrible. Just had that one little incident there, had about 12 to 15 cars pit there. Got our leaders coming back by, about 15 cars left in this lead pack. We'll see if they pit this time. I'd imagine they would be because they are almost out of fuel here.
That was a pretty clean first go-around, I will admit, as we should have the rest of the field come on in this time. Here we go. Everybody else coming on in. A couple of cars actually have saved. They'll keep going. Spencer Ray is one of them, and it looks like Austin McColgan is the other.
52 missing pit road. He's in the grass.
Looking for him. That's Grant Peterson down in the grass. Problems on his approach to pit lane.
He missed it completely, missed the entry, had to stroll all the way through the grass. He is going to be absolutely alone here.
That's going to absolutely take his race apart. Let's watch the approach here for car 52, racing right behind Spencer Ray. We had talked about him earlier. Peterson was up front at one point, making some moves, and then this attempt to get down to pit lane does not go well.
Stayed on the gas a lot longer, followed Spencer Ray, thought he was coming, and then he just stayed in it too long, wasn't able to slow down in time, missed the entry, and had to... Man, the landscape workers are going to be really mad at him.
Yeah, they don't like when you tear up the grass here at Daytona, but here goes Spencer Ray into the pit lane with help from others, and oh, that was a pit penalty, I think, for the other Panto car, that silver car. There's Grant Peterson pitting in the background. Spencer Ray, the leader. That'll change to Austin McColgan now in the pit lane. And boy, the pits are desolate compared to what we saw just a few moments ago.
Yeah, Grant Peterson finally can come to pit lane the correct way in the box, and everyone else is going to fly right past him.
Joseph Tucker, the race leader to be, I will say. He's going to come back around and cycle back to the front of the field, it looks like. And sure enough, we'll go right by Spencer Ray, who's leaving the pit lane now. So Tucker right back to the point. Kevin West in second spot. Then Michael Moultrie and Ian Brasfield, it looks like, in the 89 car. In fourth spot, Russell Black in fifth. And everybody else just kind of packs up from there. You see the whole field now, though, is spread out. Little packs dotting the racetrack as we've got a caution for the first time.
Caution, everyone had pitted. Grant Peterson was the last one. Interested to see what this caution is for here. But you know who's first, Grant Peterson is very happy about this. You know who else is probably very happy about this?
Who's that?
I believe it would be that 62 of Spencer Ray, 61, and because he pitted alone.
Well, I'm struggling to find where the caution would have been, but I think I might have found the car. I'm going to go and believe that it might have been Matt Cherry here. No, it wasn't Matt Cherry. I am struggling to find who the caution might have been here.
I've got a black flag for Joseph Tucker, but I imagine that was something having to do with pit road. So I imagine it wasn't
That's
him.
the race leader.
Really? Interesting.
I don't know where the caution is. I didn't see anybody light
Neither did I.
up. I didn't see anybody slow. I
Very, very interesting.
I'm struggling to see a reason for a caution. This might be a rare case where we just don't have a replay because I don't see anybody having had a mishap. I don't see any damage on any cars through the field.
I was flipping around, didn't see anything. Well, it's the mystery caution.
Well, unless it was this guy here, Colin Terrell, maybe. Because his car looks like it's handling a little bit oddly.
Oh, yeah, that does look quite funky. Everyone's coming back to pit road.
You got to come in and top off on fuel. I wonder.
Absolutely.
Well,
while they're doing that, I think Spencer Ray is happy about this because that RC Cola car, he stayed out alone. The third group of cars came, and Spencer Ray was the only one that didn't come. And I cannot think for any reason why he would have stayed out alone. We know here at this track, we know at super speedways, drafting is key. That's why we talk about how important pit road is, why we talked about how it was huge that Grant Peterson missed it. And so I was very interested to see Spencer Ray stay out because he was with no one, and he would have absolutely gone a lap down if we'd have stayed green.
Well, two cars stay out under this caution. They are Matthew Correa and Brian Wirtz. They're going to opt to save some fuel and not top back up. Interesting choice there.
I'd say it's not a bad move. We've got a lot of laps to go here. Fuel can be saved, so
That's a whole lot of track position they gained by staying out and starting out from the front of the field. That's not a bad play at all. While these guys pace around under caution, let's take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Scott, there's a lot of racing going on this graphic alone. Sunday, we're going to the Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Icon Cup Series. That is on the Roval configuration. That'll be the next installment and the second, actually, installment, I believe. Yes, second race of the round of 8 in the Icon Cup Series playoffs. Now, it's a little bit different from NASCAR. The round structure is a little bit different because the last round, the final round, is 3 races long. So it's a little bit different from NASCAR. It's less of a Game 7 moment and just a continuation of what you're doing through the rest of the playoffs, which means Charlotte is no longer an elimination race and becomes the second race of the round of 8. Make sure to tune in Sunday night. Going to be a lot of fun. Tuesday, we've got the Sim Auto Racing Association 1-8 Racing Media National Tour from Myrtle Beach. And not only is it from Myrtle Beach, it is the Myrtle Beach 400. We're in talks of maybe setting up a broadcast for Monday night because they're running 400 total laps between the 2 nights. We're running 100 laps on Monday night with the street stocks and mini stocks, 50 laps of heat racing, I believe, being run that night as well. Those 50 laps of heat racing will be with late model stock cars for Tuesday's action of 250 laps in the feature. So the Myrtle Beach 400 back in its proper place at Myrtle Beach Speedway on October 15th for the Sim Auto Racing Association 1-8 Racing Media National Tour. You've got to tune in for that one as well. A lot of great short track racing on the way in those couple of days, and even more short track racing, just in a different capacity, because that's where we're going next. We're going straight from Daytona, one of the biggest tracks on the circuit, right to Bristol, one of the smallest, one of the toughest, Bristol Motor Speedway, October 16th. It's the Sim Rap Market Series. Back again, week number 2. Scott, that's going to be fun.
I raced at Bristol recently in the Cup car in the racing series I'm a part of, and it was nuts. It was fun. It wasn't as fun for me because I am not very good at Bristol. I'm great at short tracks in the late model stock and super late model. Not the Cup car, though, so a lot of drivers did better than me there. It was a difficult race to drive, but man, I know that it was fun to watch. Watched it back myself, and these cars produce a great show on the late great Coliseum, and it's going to be an exciting one next week.
That's everything upcoming for us in the next week of action here at Pit Stop TV. Thanks for joining us for us so far. Make sure to follow along with everything Pit Stop TV on social media at the many social media links down below. Into the Geico restart zone for the first time this evening as a real true restart. We are back green flag at Daytona International Speedway, lap 32 underway. And we've been informed the black flag for the 39 car was for driving through too many pit stalls, leaving the pit lane. So that's going to be something these drivers have to watch as this season goes on. As we get things rolling here on this restart, you see everybody flocking right back to the top side of the racetrack. Kevin West leading the charge.
82 of Brian Wirtz had an issue going into turn 1 there, stacked up the top lane. The people from the bottom were able to go around him and jumped up to that top. Exactly what we saw at the start of the race here. A lot of people jumping to the top, but I imagine it won't stay that way for too long, Andrew.
No, I think we're going to see the bottom come up for sure, and we're already seeing that with Moultrie leading that bottom lane. Lap 33, we're about a third of the way into this race. Boy, this is going to be a long one for these guys. It feels like we've already been racing for a while, but only a third of the way into this show. It's going to be a bit of an endurance race for these guys. 250 miles here is no joke.
It really isn't. That 01 of Kevin West in the TikTok car up on the top. Now that bottom lane, like we talked about, coming back. Matthew Moultrie down on the bottom, being pushed by Correa. Looking
on board
with 31 of Millett.
This guy, we've covered him in previous series here on Pit Stop TV. And one of the series he raced in, he actually ran an Audi template on his super late model. I think he had to settle for a Ford this time, and I really do mean settle. He likes to run these exotic manufacturers on his super late model and such, but having to settle for a Ford, it's good to see Zach Millett here in the Sim Rap Market Series as you ride on board for a lap or so with him. And you can see just how much these guys are moving and jostling around. It's difficult to hold a perfectly straight line.
You know, the craziest one I've seen was from what is it? Late model stock series. I saw a BMW wrap on a late model stock.
That's getting out there for sure. Moultrie going to go high here in the 29 car. Matthew Correa now going to take over the bottom side. And if you recall, Correa was one of those drivers that stayed out under that caution.
Well, he's definitely not saving fuel now leading this line. Not at all. His foot has got to be to the floor there. So I don't know if he's planning on saving at some point, but he's definitely not going to be doing it from out front.
3 wide, Jurgen in the middle. That's Peterson down low, it looks like, and Peyton Howaway up top. And Jurgen's going to fall back and sink in line. Let's jump on board with the driver a little bit deeper in the field and just see how much they're having to check out. This is on board with Brandon Frohnapple. Maybe my favorite name in the entire series.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He told us earlier that in German it means happy apple. And I don't know why, but I love that.
Well, he's behind Matt Taylor in the Taylor & Taylor Chevrolet.
That'll also make me laugh.
We're learning it doesn't take a whole lot to make Scott Shive laugh.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Well, Michael Moultrie continues to lead out front. That's Correa down low, and everybody just kind of cycling in behind.
This is exactly what we saw earlier, Andrew. 2 by 2 by 2, all the way to the back. Calm, simple racing. And it looks calm from an outwardly perspective, but man, I've got to tell you, when they are sitting in these cars and you are bumper to bumper like this, the only thing you can see is the car in front of you. You're judging everything off of what they are doing in front of you, and it is definitely not so calm in the bottom there.
Yeah, this style of racing is anything but calm. It might calm down respectively, but it's certainly never that calm here at Daytona International Speedway. You have calm moments maybe, but it's never actually truly calm, as the 88 now leads the bottom side. That's Mata down there.
Yeah, calm is just the best word for it. I don't know if there's a better word. It's not the true meaning of calm, because I would not say that me going 109 miles per hour with a range of vision of 3 feet is calming or relaxing.
Hey, for some it might be.
I don't know who that is. Because even these race car drivers, I know it's not them.
Well, down the Daytona Super Stretch here on lap 38 of 100. Want to give a big thank you to all the partners with the series. Apex Sim Racing, IMB Racewear, Moza Racing, RS Button Boxes, Team Conti Sim Performance, Track Bar Media, The Butt Kicker, Extreme Graphics, Cyber Edge Hosting, and most of all, SimRapMarket.com coming on board as the presenting partner of the Sim Rap Market Series. A long ways to go here, but we are nearing halfway.
It really hasn't seemed like that long. It's one of those deals where it's like, it feels long, but it feels short at the same time. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
It's kind of one of those.
It wears on me. It raises my blood pressure. I think they're going to crash here so often.
Oh, absolutely.
It wears me out just seeing how close these guys get and for how long they stay double file, sometimes 3 wide. And it is so sketchy sometimes, but in the best of ways as Matta continues to lead down low on the bottom side of the racetrack. Moultrie leads the race. And we get to just watch these guys lap after lap kind of sit around right now. This is the calm before the storm. This is where,
it is.
Again, we use calm as a relative term because this is as calm as they're probably going to get. They're in mid-race mode. Everybody was a little antsy at first, even though they wanted to play it safe and conservative. Now, we're in the middle of the race. They're established. They know how the car feels. They're able to ride around a little bit and relax for the time being, log laps until that next round of pit stops comes up, or until a lap car comes up. In the case of the 39 of Joseph Tucker here on the outside lane, who is getting put a lap down. There he goes, going that lap behind the field.
Reminder, he had a penalty earlier on that pit stop before the caution, passed through too many pit stalls, was black flagged and left out alone here. And so that's why he's falling back now on the outside of the pack. Good that he's staying in his line, holding his line, able to let the field roll on past him.
And Tucker joins Ryan Dingler and Colin Terrell 1 lap down. So he is not alone.
He's not alone, but he's kind of alone. Now he's going to try to join in the back of the pack here, catch the draft. He currently is the first car 1 lap down, so if he stays there, he will be the free pass car, but he's fighting with Ryan Dingler, who I believe is also at the back of the pack there. Yep, he's sitting 1 row ahead.
Dingler's actually just passed him. So, yeah, Dingler and Tucker will have to fight it out for the lucky dog position, along with Colin Terrell, who's right there in the 20 for Panto Racing. And Terrell, it looks like, is just going to briefly pass that 39 car of Tucker on the bottom side. So,
man,
a little bit of a race within a race.
Yeah, it just happens when you go a lap down like that. You have to think, all right, it's not about the pack anymore. It's about getting back on the lead lap now, and he's about 3 rows behind the 16 of Ryan Dingler. So he's got some work cut out for himself here in the back of this pack. 20 of the Lego car of Jeremy Brown moving around.
I may have found the problem. I may have found the reason for that caution. Jeremy Brown, we didn't have a replay of it. We didn't know what happened. It must have happened really quickly, but his Elite Motorsports Elite Designs 07 has got a lot of damage. Do you see it there on the bottom of your screen? The left side
on
of that
left
car.
rear quarter panel.
And the left front. The left side of that car is beat up.
Looks like he might have gotten spun around, and that left side drug up along the outside wall.
Oh, and they check up big time ahead of him. There's another lap car. That is going to be Hank Caston.
A little bit of a checkup.
Oh, and Hank has got a lot of damage. Hank is going to let these guys go. So we're learning a little bit now. It must have happened so fast that they didn't chip timing and scoring as being slow cars, as Cherry gives this car a big shot. Cherry in the 45, Caston in the 42. Cherry's going to hit the wall, and Caston's trying to hang on.
Man, he is absolutely sideways rolling through here. The 45 is stuck, trying to get down there. He is being passed. He has got to get down here, and that 42 looks like he's trying to blend in with the rest of the field.
And you see the damage now on that 42 car. Left front and right front of that 42 machine. So we've found the players, at least, from that first caution. We didn't find, of course, what happened, but we found the result. And it's Hank Caston being a lap down here.
In my eyes, it's still mystery caution. I'll take that. Meanwhile, we saw him double file pretty even. Now we've got a 4-car breakaway here at the front on the bottom line. Being led by Michael Matta.
Yeah, Matta, Correa, Ray, and Lodison. Your top 4 that have gotten single file out ahead. I love this shot because you can see the sun glinting off the roofs and the hoods, and it's difficult to make out who's who, and then they just come right to you here to turn 3, and you can see everything all of a sudden. Love that shot here at Daytona. It's just so scenic, so cool to see these 43 cars racing it out here at Daytona International Speedway. 41 actually now, as it looks like 2 did not make the start of the race. Your first side-by-side is going to be Michael Moultrie and Brian Wirtz in the IMB Racewear number 82 car.
Still so impressed here. 24, Sean Lodison tries to make a move up top, thinks about it again, thinks better of it, and stays in the bottom. That move moves Moultrie up a row, trying to get in line there, trying to get this top lane moving, trying to get them back up to the front and in this fight.
Well, we're coming up on driver of the day conversation, and initially we were talking about doing it at halfway. I just don't think we've seen enough of this race yet. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit deeper into this race and start to really think about who deserves the nomination. So what I'm going to challenge you viewers to do is let us know in the YouTube chat. And if you're watching on another platform, feel free to open YouTube even just for a minute to let us know who you're feeling. Who do you feel like deserves a nomination? We're still going to have our choices and whatnot, but who do you feel like, you viewers, feel like deserves a nomination for driver of the day? Now, there's a lot to consider, and at Daytona, it's maybe a little bit of a crapshoot. But if I pull up this position gained piece of the ticker again, you can see who has gone from the back to the front and the front to the back and in between. 26 positions gained for Michael Matta, leading this race, approaching halfway. I think he deserves a look. Spencer Ray has been up front, in the back, moved around a little bit. He deserves a look. Sean Lodeson's up 15 spots. Sean Boundy's up 15 spots. Sean Kirby in the double lot is up 26 positions. So some different options as to who you can look for that has gained a lot of positions. How about Quentin Lee in the 2-car? He has gained 30 positions. He started at the very back of the field. He has gained 30 spots from 41st to 10th now, 11th here. So, again, let us know who you're feeling like deserves driver of the day at this point in time. We're going to think about it a little more, and probably around the 60 to 70 lap mark, make our nominations and put up that vote.
I'm really excited about this. Just being able to look around the field. I've got a few ideas. I've narrowed it down to about 2 or 3, but I might have my pick in mind. But I'll
three
save
wide.
it.
Oh boy, this is scary.
Oh no. Oh no.
The 44 on the outside, that's Taylor. The 42 in the middle is Cast, and the 45 on the outside is Cherry. And they will get it sorted out now. Cherry following that 42. I think they might be teammates. Cherry wasn't logged to a team in the spreadsheet, unfortunately, but I'm wondering if they're teammates because the 45 has been married to the back end of the 42 since the 42 went to lap down. So I'm wondering if they're teammates and the 45 is trying to get the 42 back in the race.
It's not a bad call as the 42 tries to go 3 wide there for a second. 42 really needs to stay in line. He has a little bit of front nose damage. That's going to hurt his aero. He's now in the middle. Going to try to pull up in front here in the top line. That's what he should do, but he's not going to. Falling back now through the field. He lost the lock-in with the 45. Now he's going to the back. Is that 42 of Hank Caston?
Running 39th spot behind Joseph Tucker. A lap down, but ahead of Colin Terrell, who pulls up behind him, and Ryan Dingler. And for the most part, everybody's in the same group. There is one little pack a little further back. Matthew Montgomery is actually on his own back here in the 9 car. He has lost the draft.
Oh, wiggle up front. Big push from the 24 of Sean Lodeson. Got Spencer Ray a little sideways and almost turned the 88 of Michael Matta. That was close.
Everybody hangs on, and we continue racing. Sean Boundy, Michael Moultrie now racing for the race lead at halfway. Matta moving around. He was looking high, now stays low behind Kevin West. West behind Moultrie. Boundy's got help from the 64 of Black. There's a crash!
24 of Sean Lodeson.
Lodeson in the 24 car around. First big crash of the day, and it's actually relegated to be relatively small. He's going to keep... Oh, and Jurgen's going to hit him. Light's going to hit him. It got worse right at the end.
You had to say it.
I know.
Man, they almost wrecked in 3 and 4 just 1 lap prior to this. They were getting squirrely up at the front there. Guys were starting to make some moves. Taking a look back here at what happened. Looking along here with that 24 of Sean Lodeson. That red and white 24 machine. Just gets shuffled out of line there off the exit of 2. Get a little uncomfortable. And I believe Spencer Ray got into the back there of the 24.
That wasn't a very good look, so we'll try and do that one again. And watch here in slow-mo. He got down low behind Spencer Ray, and then the 82 got into his right rear. That's Brian Wirtz.
There's the 82.
Matthew Taylor got into him pretty hard. The 37 might have got a piece. And then he kept it in the wall pretty nicely. It's going to completely ruin his race.
Look at that right rear.
Yeah, it's going to completely ruin his race, but he kept it in the wall pretty nicely and out of harm's way for the most part. But I want to go back and see kind of what started that a little bit more.
It looked like the 24 got squirrely on the exit of 2 here. Looking down in, this is in turn 1. Now coming up to the exit of turn 2. Still looking at that 24, that red and white car.
There was that little bit of a checkup. That shot the 61 down, and then the 24 went with him. The 82 got on his right rear, and just
that's exactly what it is.
That big checkup just really, really changes things here in this race.
Yeah. Got the 24 slow. He moved a little bit to the left. That made the 82 go a little bit to the right. When the 24 tried to rejoin after the stack up happened, well, the 82 was there on the inside.
On board of Lodison.
While we're checking this replay, guys are coming into the pits for some pit stops.
And then right here, he turns the car around, or at least tries to, and boom,
just
gets hit there.
Yeah. He was doing a great job keeping it up against the wall, but not all of the field had passed, and man, that is unfortunate there for the 62.
Cars work off the pit lane. Moultrie going to be one of the first, but Boundy is properly the first car up and out of the pits, it looks like. And this changes things up for sure.
Looks like not everyone took tires. Most everyone, some people looks like took 2. Peyton Howell looks like he either took 2 or no tires. I think he took no tires. 8.8 second in the box, so looks like he might have taken no tires there, the 11 car.
Bold choice here from Ryan Dingler to stay out and try to get a wave around. I guess he's banking on an early caution because he's going to have to pit.
Oh, absolutely. We've been out there for about 15, 17 laps or so since we had our last caution, so he's only going to have about 10 laps max of fuel before he is going to be out. So I guess he's trying to get here on the lead lap, or he's waiting to pit with the lap down cars, but not sure. But bold move.
Bold strategy. We'll see if it works out for him, but I love that metallic purple. Golly, that looks nice on that machine. I don't think he's going to pit here. I think he's trying to get that wave around.
So either. Yep. Looks like it. Hey, I mean, we're halfway. So there's plenty of time. If he can get back on the lead lap, get to the back of this pack and stay in line, be able to hopefully get a caution. Not sure. He'd have to get a lucky caution even after he pitted within 10 laps or so, or he'd go back a lap down. So it's a bit of a risky call, but again, if you're a lap down, we're halfway. If you don't get back on the lead lap soon, you're going to be out of it for sure.
Here's a look at the Jeremy Brown machine. All that damage there on the left side of that car. Nothing really changing. He tried to get some repaired, but still a lot of damage to that Elite Motorsports Chevrolet. And
yeah, remember,
the same is true still for Hank Caston. Go ahead.
Yeah, reminder, no fast repair. So Sean Lodison probably out of this race for sure. We saw that right rear bouncing up and down. A lot broken in that suspension there, and the same goes for, he's back on the track. Not sure how that car is going to drive, but we'll see. But he's not out of it, but he's in 37th.
I'm shocked, honestly, that he's still on the racetrack.
I am as well. I don't know how it's going to drive. I mean, we saw that right rear bouncing. A lot was broken in there. And for him to already be back on the track with having no fast repair, I don't know how it got fixed that fast. And he's only 1 lap down.
He's actually, from what I can tell, on the lead lap still. So, yeah. Hey, if it works out, it works out, right? Give him a chance here. This is going to bring Ryan Dingler out of the lead lap. It's going to hold Hank Caston and Colin Terrell 1 lap down. They pit under this yellow. Ryan Dingler, the only car to have stayed out. He's been on the racetrack now for 27 laps, still have to pit immediately after the green flag.
Well, I bet he's hoping for a caution within the first 10 laps before he's out alone in the draft, before he'll go a lap down yet again.
Into the Geico restart zone another time. Lap 54 will be complete. Lap 55 is underway with the green flag from Barney the Flagman. Caution!
Caution already.
Lodison, and it looks like, is that Jurgen? It is.
Oh, that's who Sean Lodison, when he was back on the wall, that's when he turned around. That 92 was the guy who ran into him. Was that a little bit of foul contact? Or was that just an incident in the back of the field?
I can't imagine so. I mean, these guys are in a rough spot as it is, but let's see here for the 92 of Jurgen. I think it's just a checkup. Jurgen didn't go anywhere. Oh, and there was a big checkup from the 4.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Decent gets into him. Brown gets into him. Oh, man. So drivers that unfortunately are already having a bad day have a worse day.
Man, that 92 of Jurgensen, he's got to be upset with the 24. The reason he's wrecked twice is because of Sean.
Well, yes and no. I'll
Yes
put
and
that
no.
on the checkup.
Yeah. No, 24 did not get into him intentionally there. Not what I'm saying at all. Just it happened to be them both times that there's been an incident. So not by any foul intent like I might have thought when we got the replay. Check it. Ride on board with Edward Jurgensen here. Just nothing he could do. And the 24, he wouldn't have been able to see the checkup at all. So just a racing incident there, but still, when you see that red and white 24 go by twice after an incident, got to be a little upset.
Here's the onboard from Odison. Yeah, there was no knowing.
No, not at all.
And the onboard with Jeremy Brown from Virginia.
Oh! That gave the 24 even more damage than he already had.
Yeah, a couple of big hits there off the restart, and that's unfortunate. But you know who this saves? Oh my gosh!
Ryan Dingler.
I've never seen a play work out quite like this. Ryan Dingler is going to be saved by the bell.
I mean, he could pit now. I mean, it was a caution immediately. I didn't even think about it.
That's exactly what he needed. So Ryan
Wow.
Dingler will come back in here. You know what we haven't done yet is talk to a driver. You know what we're going to do?
Talk to a driver.
We're going to talk to a driver.
Hey, also, Ryan Dingler repping the Mid-South. Let's go, baby.
Let's grab Ryan Dingler, who is pitting now under this caution. Ryan, you've just been saved by one of the, I'm going to say, ballsiest calls I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was a last-second call. I'm like, if I stay out, I can pit, stay on the lead lap, and hope for an early yellow. And they wrecked on the start of the next green flag. So I was like, well, that worked out perfectly. So,
that is the gutsiest call I've seen in a while, especially at Daytona. At least a gutsiest pit call, I'll say. This saves your race, more or less, right?
it sort of does. There's still a lot of work to do, but we'll see what we can get out of it. There's a lot of cars in front of me. I'm just glad to be on the lead lap.
And how about teamwork in this race? I know you have a couple of teammates out there. I see a channel with a bunch of you guys in there communicating. How is that teamwork working for you? Is it going to help you get back into this thing?
I hope so now that I'm on the lead lap, but that early spin on pit road all kind of accumulated from some indecisions on some pit strategies, and it was a last-second call, and I couldn't get slowed down enough. I hit the cone, got a penalty, and then got spun. It was just a whole mess, and that was because of us trying to work together. Just not on the same page, but I think we are now, so we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck to you here, Ryan. Congratulations on getting back into this race. That, again, I've not seen that. You got to play the lottery after this race.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Maybe I can win something.
Oh, well, maybe you'll win here this evening. Who knows? That might have been what saves it, but Ryan, best of luck.
All right, thank you.
That is the luckiest man here so far.
Absolutely.
So far.
We know the unluckiest man, Edward Jurgen.
Right behind him, I think, would be Jeremy Brown.
Oh yeah.
Brown has been, I think, in every caution. No, he wasn't in the previous yellow with Lodison, I suppose. So, all but that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to reset things and get back going here in a moment. You can watch from the drone camera just how fast the drone moves. It looks like it's almost standing still when these guys are at speed, but this is how fast it moves when these guys are going slower.
It reminds me of that cam. I really would love it to be brought back to real life. The camera down the back straightaway
The back
that's on the
cam?
huge rail.
Yeah, I know
It
what you're
just
talking
goes.
about.
Yes, it's so awesome.
That's what we try to emulate here, but it's difficult to do on iRacing to have just a
Oh, it
straight
is.
shot. But Whiplash SimCams has us hooked up for sure. I want to give a nod to all of our partners with Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, namely with the drone camera for sure. Also ATVL that allows this broadcast to even happen, allows these graphics to come to your eyes, and then CC's Business keeps Broadcast HQ smelling absolutely perfect, and Cody Williams Design helps us look good and go fast.
I need some CC's business in my house, in my broadcast center.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Here we go. Lap 58 into the Geico restart zone. We will go. There's the whole field working down in front of the fans. Let's go to the fan cam for this restart. Green flag back in the air. On this restart, I'm going to challenge you fans again. Those of you watching on YouTube, let us know who you're pulling for. Let us know who you think deserves driver of the day. We're going to be watching for it. We'll take your votes into account. Down the back straightaway, the Daytona Super Stretch. One more time. This is lap 59 of 100. We are closing in on the 2/3 mark. Michael Matta with the race.
Oh, they're getting squirrely in the top line.
Ooh.
I thought they were wrecking. I really thought they were gone. I don't know how they saved that.
You scared me. You scared me a
I
little bit.
know. I thought they were going around for sure.
Matta leading the bottom, Bounty leading the top. Bounty's got help from Millet. Matta's got help from West.
That 31 of Millet was the most sideways you can be at a speedway without wrecking. I cannot believe they did not go around.
Well, hangs on to it and continues to push this 34 car of Bounty out to a race lead. They get a big run here down the back straightaway. I love this shot. We're going to hold on to it. What we don't have here from Whiplash SimCams is a gyro cam. What we have instead is the driver's eye perspective, and I think this looks so much better. I really love what this adds to the broadcast. You can see the hands moving on the wheel. You can see the full digital dash. You can see everything as the driver sees it. This is one of the best cameras we have to offer from Whiplash SimCams. There's a big move to the inside from Zach Millet.
Millet down to the bottom, 34. Looking to make a little squeeze play here, trying to come down on that bottom line, give him a little bit of a side draft. These guys are getting a little bit more bold here as we're coming just over halfway here at 61 laps, 39 left to go. These guys are getting a little bit more bold. Millet leading now in the bottom line for the first time.
Stephen Kirby with issues. He is 4 laps down and out of this race. He now joins Sean Ludison out of this race. A wheel issue. Wheel disconnected for Sean Kirby. There's a swerve out of Zach Millet to go to the top lane. He gets shoved by the 34 of Sean Bounty, but he is now the leader at Daytona.
He doesn't want to just lead the bottom line or the top line. He wants to lead both, trying to play a blocking game. But Michael Matta doesn't want any of the matter.
And here comes Howell on the outside. Peyton Howell. One of the best hot shoes in this series. I can't wait to get to a racetrack like Bristol and Las Vegas and such to show you how good this guy is. He's going to give a shot now to Zach Millet. He's going to get that 31 car going and dispatch of that 34 of Sean Bounty quickly.
Big shot there to the 31 of Zach Millet, keeping him up front in this outside line. We saw Peyton Howell. He was the one that we believe took no tires at that last pit stop. One reason that he's been able to get up front so fast. But again, to what you talked about, he's got great pedigree behind the wheel.
You see the 3 there of Daniel Wiles moving around. He's going to drop down low. I've seen Daniel Wiles a lot on TikTok, actually. I wonder if he's streaming this race on his TikTok platform. If so, hello to any of you that might be watching.
I'm checking right now.
Yeah, we're going to have to check. I do wonder. You know, we've thought about getting into TikTok a couple of times. We have an account.
Who was it?
Daniel Wiles. Maybe we'll have to get into the TikTok thing. But here comes Wiles with a push from Andrew Mendenhall. Andrew Mendenhall's on the outside. And whoa, Wiles gets loose with a shot there from Matta.
I don't know. I can't find him. Not sure if he is.
Well, Millet drops down in front of Wiles, and that's going to leave Peyton Howell to lead the outside lane. You see the entire field from turn 1 to the tri-oval. Lap 64.
Golly, they are so close. I mean, they are within inches of each other right now. They're just, like I said, they're getting a little bit more bold as this race has gone on. Guys are making a little bit more of bold moves, and it's getting a little dicey.
You know, that save out of Zach Millett and the way he's now controlling this race might be worthy of driver of the day. Whoa, what a swerve. Howell's going to go to his inside. That was a big move. Howell just gets in front of Daniel Wiles.
Well,
and it's lap 64.
It was a good move that he moved down, was that of Peyton Howell, because without that, I believe Zach Millett would have been hung out to dry.
That was crazy.
That was a huge move.
That was a big-time exchange for the race lead as a plane lands there on the backstretch. Wiles now going to control this race. He jumps up to this top spot. Moultrie goes to the inside of Howell. Everybody's leaving the 11 car.
Man. And there he goes. It was so easy for him to get out front, and now it is so easy for him to go all the way to the back.
Nobody wants to help him. Matt
Here
Sherry's
comes
going
the
to pick him up.
45 car. Cherry has been helping everybody out.
Yeah,
a man of
saving
the
races. Well, there you see Peyton Howell get back in line alongside the 99 of Alfie Sharon Jr. Daniel Wiles now controlling the race out front of Michael Matta, Kevin West on the inside as well. Matta actually on the outside, he made a move. West is on the inside pushing the 3 car. Meanwhile, here comes Matta on the outside with Moultrie and Millett.
Man, I've got our YouTube chat. They're saying Matta. Big move from Michael Moultrie down to the bottom.
Moultrie's maybe going to lead the lap that time to the stripe. No, it's Matta.
That's who I think it is. I think it's Matta and Moultrie. I think if we're having two, I think those are the guys up front all day long, now leading both lines, making good moves, smart moves. I think it's them, if anyone.
Sean Bounty making it 3 wide in the middle. That 34 car trying to go places. He's got help from Peterson and Ray.
We are established for the 3 wide, more than 2 cars now. I think it's time for 3 wide to stay.
I don't know. It's still really early for these guys to be 3 wide like this. We're at the 2/3 mark right now. Coming to the stripe. Lap 67 is complete of 100. That's 2/3 of the way through this race. 2 by 2 by 2 out front. Then 3 by 3 by 3 in the back.
Man, Holden McGill, he was on the bottom line right in front of Grant Peterson, and he got on the yellow line and started squirreling through the tri-oval. I thought he was going around.
Lapped car here, that's Hank Caston. No, that's not Hank Caston, that's Edward Jurgen getting swallowed up by the field. Everybody's swerving to miss him. Jurgen going a lap down now. He's going to join Hank Caston 1 lap down. Sean Lodison's back in this race, 7 laps down.
Guess who has almost broken back into the top 10 from an incident earlier? The 52 of Grant Peterson went through the grass earlier on our first green flag pit stop, and he's almost back in the top 10 now.
You see as low as 34th. I'm surprised he wasn't caught a lap down with the rest of those guys. Because you're right, going through the grass like that after missing pit lane, that is a big deal. That is a big problem to have. So to still be on the lead lap and nearly be top 10 again here, that's a big deal.
He got saved by the mystery caution.
He did.
Love this view. Love the view from the hood. Love the driver cam that you talked about earlier. Just great cameras by SimCam. So it's just, it really helps us out. And I think it's really great for y'all viewers getting to see these awesome views of these cars throughout the races.
A nice view here. Lap 70 now underway. 31 to go. We're closing in. Slowly but surely getting closer and closer. That lap 100 mark is looming for these guys.
You know what I'm just thinking? When is something gonna happen? That's what I'm worried about.
You know, we've kept the incidents to be pretty small so far. We want to keep it that way if possible. We haven't had a big crash yet. The biggest, I'd say, was the front stretch incident with that caution straight off the restart. That was 3 cars wadded up at once. That's probably the biggest, maybe the turn 2 incident. It's between those two.
Well, those have been really our only 2 that we really saw. And again, I just want to take it back, really giving props to these drivers and the moves they're making, being decisive, being clean, being bold, but just keeping it clean and staying double. We've been double wide almost this whole time. We saw a few instances of 3 wide, but man, these drivers have been holding it together so nicely. Looking along at the 24 of Sean Lodison, all out alone after this restart.
And he is quickly being caught by the field. Here they come to put him an 8th lap down. Just like that, I mean, they are on him. And there he goes.
Came in probably for some damage repair, especially after that hit from our last caution on the front stretch. And just trying to stay out, just trying to gain some points, because what's important about this league is, as some of you know from last season, but any of you new viewers, with each week, the top 25 in points are automatically guaranteed to get into the race. The back 18 have to qualify through qualifying to be able to make the show each week. And so Sean Lodison is trying to get as many points as possible out of today.
And it's a really fun way to handle qualifying, in my opinion. They have qualifying day on Tuesday, and then they re-qualify for the race itself on Wednesday and then go racing. I really like the process, as there's a checkup on the outside lane. They hang on to it. Michael Matta controlling the outside lane again with Zach Millett behind him, Moultrie and Wiles down low. It's about that time to talk about driver of the day. And I think the top 2 certainly are in the running. I think Ryan Dingler is worth considering with that move to pit, or move to stay out, rather. That gets him back in this race, and he is now, as a result, running in the, I'm looking for the 16 car. Where is he? Running with the 9 here. He's about 20th spot, so he's mid-pack now as a result of that. And just riding around, biding his time. That's, again, a huge, huge move from him.
Zach Millett, Michael Matta working really well together here as drafting partners, both moving together cohesively. Move down to the bottom now. Look, up to the front the first time, and in Mendenhall.
Mendenhall now going to lead this race in the 37 car. Look who's back, Peyton Howell. How did he get back here?
I don't know. He only fell to about 22nd earlier, so he's been working his way through the pack. Talking about Andon Mendenhall, raced against him some in my iRacing time. He is a great driver. Move from the 17 of Correa down to the bottom. Trying to get back to the front. He's been mired back in the mid-top 15s, mid-pack there for the past 30 laps or so. Now he wanted to be back in the front. Pulls in front of Matthew Matta.
Just watching on, Michael Matta falling back now with that bottom lane. He's got a fan club here this evening. The top side, all of a sudden, the place to be. As we're going to come around at 25 laps to go this time by. Pit stops are looming for these guys. The final pit stop of the night.
Look at that. Matt Cherry running third. He's been mid-pack all day. Was able to work his way up front here now, running third in that 45 NOS Energy car.
Well, it's about that time. I'd love to wait a little bit longer, but we've got to get this vote up. So, I'm going to put you on the spot. Driver of the Day nomination number 1 for you here, Scott. Who's it going to be?
It's got to be Michael Matta. He has been up front the entire race. He's led a lot of laps. He's been making solid moves. He's definitely one of my picks for sure. He's got to be one of our guys.
And I have to take that pit call from Ryan Dingler. I can't ignore that. That is just too big to me to be a lap down in that lucky dog race, end up deciding to take the wave around and bank on a caution coming out, and the luck right there, just that is a driver making a very heads-up decision. So there's my 2, or well, there's 2 immediately. You've got Michael Matta and Ryan Dingler. If you didn't take Matta, I was. But I'll put you on the spot now for your second nomination then.
Yeah, my second one has, man, it's got to be the 29 car of Michael Moultrie. He's also been up front all day, making good moves. Him and Matta, they were my two from the beginning, working up front together, have been up front all afternoon long.
Ooh, stack up there on the top side. Sean Boundy is back here. I see the 20 car in line. That's going to be Colin Terrell. He's back from being a lap down. Moultrie was the easy one. Now I got to pick somebody else. And I think I'm going to take the 17. Matthew Correa.
I think it's a great call.
Matthew Correa has been around a lot this evening. And has made some big moves.
Twice.
Yeah, he's come back to the front of this field. You see him on the inside, that 17 car. He is leading the bottom lane in 4th place. And he is moving forward again with help from, of course, Michael Matta. So that vote is going to go up. Michael Matta, Ryan Dingler, Michael Moultrie, and Matthew Correa. A couple of Michaels, a Matthew and a Ryan. We could only nominate 4. I wish we could do more, but we can only nominate 4. That vote is going live. It's up for you now over on YouTube.
Vote before the end of lap 100, and we'll let you know who won that. Oh, we got pit stops. We got people coming.
Pit stops deep in this field. Spencer Ray, one of them. Grant Peterson, Ryan Dingler. So that whole group, NAS Esports and more. I see Holden McGill. I see Ryan Dingler, Grant Peterson, Spencer Ray, Austin McColgan, and a couple of others pitting all at once.
Looks like about 7 or 8 cars there came to pit lane here at lap 79. Rest of the field still out, about 30 cars. Drivers trying to get to the bottom. We're still double file here. A lot of cars up in that top lane. Don't know what they're planning, but someone's Andy Mendenhall is coming down, trying to get to the bottom lane. Who's coming this time?
Nobody.
No one.
There's a wider pit window this time around. They can do a few different things here, and you see these guys want to keep running just a little bit longer in case something happens.
Looks like that 92 of Edward Jurgen had just pitted. Still many laps down from his incidents. Running down to the apron.
Surprisingly, he's only 2 laps down, but yeah, he's got a very injured race car. As we work lap 80 here of 100, this is maybe the moment where we see more drivers pit. Do we see
guys
it happen?
Over the
here
radio, Matta, Correa, over the radio, they're coming.
You see half the field kind of dip out, including the 17 of Matthew Correa into the pit lane.
Got about 10 cars here in this little grouping here. Gotta make sure they exit together. It is so important that you keep a good pack to keep a good draft. Got Michael Moultrie in here. Got your pole sitter of Taylor and Taylor.
And here we go. Panto Racing now leading the group. Colin Terrell, Nathan Paris, Dalton Tucker's out there. Matt Cherry's still here. Peyton Howell's in this group, and they should be pitting, I'd imagine, this time by. Here they come.
Another group coming. Still a few to stay out. Still about 6-7 cars or so to stay out. Someone locks it up getting into pit road. That was the 20.
Yeah, that was Colin Terrell with a big lockup. Big hit!
Ooh.
The 75 of Paris comes across the nose of Peyton Howell. That's going to be damage for the 11 car. You've got to be aware of where you're pitting.
He's got to back up onto pit road. This is going to leave him alone in this group. He's going to pit later than the rest.
And look at the damage on the right front of that 11 car.
There is damage. Could be worse. Could be better. I want to say he'll survive.
He will survive. He'll live to see the next lap for sure, but that is still going to be a hindrance as here comes the rest of the field, more or less. This
Matt
should
Cherry,
be everybody else.
Dalton
Montgomery stays out in the 9 car.
Interesting. Wonder what the call is there. Again, if he's a loner with 2 cars, I don't know how that's going to work out.
He is on his own. He's the only car to have stayed out, but he's in a group of some other cars. But he's the only car that stayed out in this extra lap. You see the driver out of Texas. I'm sorry, Arkansas. Thought it was Texas. Well, that's because he's got the West Texas Pepper Traders Incorporated on his car. Buc-ee's, Dr.
Right.
Pepper, he is living the part. HEB, he is living the part for sure.
It's a great paint scheme. I love it. Very easy to spot. I'm a big fan of yellow paint schemes because they are really easy to find.
Yeah, I talked about it last week, how much I love this paint scheme from Matthew Montgomery. He's going to stay out another lap. Continuing to lead this race. He's in a group, so you may as well at this point, if you've got the fuel to keep going, you may as well run some extra laps in case something happens here, in case we get a caution flag. Not a bad call.
Not a bad call at all. People trying to rejoin into some groups in, I'd say up front, not technically up front, but what will be your lead pack at some point when they get around Matthew Montgomery. That is going to be led by Peyton Howell.
So Peyton Howell in the 11 controlling this race more or less with Zach Millett and Andy Mendenhall. And this is the great separator, this pit cycle. Now, what did these guys do in the pit lane? That's what I wonder. 2 tires, that's what it is. 2 tires and fuel. A lot of these guys did full fuel loads. They took less fuel, so they've been saving through that run.
And that's going to give them a 2-second gap to the rest of the pack. And the rest of the pack is one huge pack. So these 3 cars, then the entire field left behind them. So if they've saved enough, obviously more cars are going to be a faster draft as we see the 9 coming out of pit road. Finally, Matthew Montgomery to the pit lane. But these 3 cars that have stayed out front of Peyton Howell, Zach Millett, and Andy Mendenhall, they're going to be slower than the big pack. We've got 15 to go. They are out front. The big pack will catch them, but I think this is a great move, Andrew.
Well, how much slower? I mean, they don't look much slower.
Not
right now.
that much slower. I would not say significantly.
Last lap of 46.2. Meanwhile, the pack is running 46.2. I think they're going to be okay. They might be able to control this race as there's a whole pack behind them. Grant Peterson, Matthew Correa. I see Spencer Ray. Michael Montgomery is going to join them. Matthew Montgomery, I'm sorry. A lot of Matthews, a lot of Michaels.
Montgomery is going to join in and cycle in about 21st. So not a bad call. Try to stay out, try to have something going. He was probably trying to stay out for a caution. I imagine that's what it was. Should have thought of that earlier, but he'll cycle in about 21st now.
You see a lot of single file now in the background. That second group trying to get single file and run as fast as they can to try and catch these leaders. There is a secondary group catching them. That's led by the 21 of Dalton Tucker, including the 30 of Brandon Fronapple. They're gonna catch Tucker, Fronapple, Lovett, and Half. They have caught up.
They're trying to go around the outside. This double file right here is going to slow both of these lines down just a little bit. So this might enable the backpack to be able to catch them if they can't work this out. But that outside line, they're going by. The 32 of Daniel Half is almost clear, trying to get to the bottom. He won't be able to, but that 21 of Dalton Tucker will. So will Brandon Fronapple.
And look at the group in the background. This actually could help these leaders because you saw a couple of cars slingshot ahead that's going to pull then the existing leaders up a little bit. This actually could end up helping them if they get single file quickly. They can conserve their momentum as they will. I don't know. This actually could work out nicely for them. They have a bit of a group, a bit of a pack.
I think it will as well. At some point, this is about a 7-car pack now, about to be an 8-car pack. I believe that's the 17 trying to catch up. Or I believe it's Michael Moultrie. He's leading that back pack. So it's still the 7 of them. That was a lap car. Still the 7 of them. But you're right. They're making great time in this pack.
Tucker, last season's champion, now leading this race. That's Dalton Tucker. Brandon Fronapple in second. And Peyton Howell, Zach Millett, and Mendenhall, your top 5. They're in a group of 7 leaders. A couple of stragglers in the back end of the field. Michael Moultrie leads the second group with Sean Boundy and Grant Peterson in tow. And they're trying to catch those leaders and make this a race to the end.
That lap car of Hank Caston is the 8th car in the pack. He is 1 lap down, just trying to stay up front. So he is the 8th car there. But only 7 of them are on the lead lap and in the fight for the win here.
All these wide shots, wide perspectives here from the fan cam at Daytona International Speedway. Really gives you a sense of perspective. And just how big this place is. Now let's ride on board with Michael Moultrie. This is tracking to Daniel Half. 1.6 seconds is the gap. You're looking to get down to about 1 second. That's where the draft will kick in.
Nothing really doing. It stayed at 2.2 seconds back for the past 2 laps here. So nothing really doing. Nothing. They're not catching them at
they are
a
now.
fast rate right now.
They
there we go. Down to 2
2/10.
seconds.
Just made up 2/10 in closing. Half is really checking up or something. Moultrie gained 2/10 right there from the start-finish line to turn 1. Loses a 10th in turns 1 and 2.
I can tell you what might have helped is that entire line is now about 12 cars single file.
Wow. What drama we're about to have.
This is the question. Can this pack catch the 7 leaders? Or will we stay single file? Because they're staying single file to try to catch them, and we've got 9 to go here. Without this, are we gonna end green flag single file? Or is the front pack gonna try to fight out the 7 of them? This is interesting. I've never seen anything like this to end a race.
This is going to be a very, very interesting situation very, very soon. There is a lap car ahead of Moultrie. Moultrie could use that lap car if he could just get there, or that lap car is going to hang on to the back end. And that, I think, is going to be Brian Ruisi.
Ian Brassfield pulled out a line in this second pack, followed by the 82 of Brian Wirtz, trying to get something going here, but this is gonna hurt the momentum of that second pack. They're not doing much, and they're falling to the back.
I don't know if a pack is faster or single file is faster. I really don't know.
I don't either.
And we saw the top side be faster last week. I wonder if it'd be worth these guys going up top, just trying it. See if
They've
that's
got to
actually...
try something different, because
Yeah.
this is not working. They will not catch them if they keep doing this. It's not working. I have never seen a situation, a strategy quite like this. Hands off to Dalton Tucker, Brandon Fronapple, Peyton Howell, Zach Millett, Andon Mendenhall, Matt Lovett, and Daniel Haff all played the strategy, save fuel. They created a 2-second gap to the rest of the field by doing that. Very impressive.
You see the gap from Moultrie to Half. 8 laps to go that last time by. It's closing in slightly. On board of Moultrie. 1.4 seconds. That yellow car is what he's trying to catch up to.
Is there enough time? Is there enough time?
And you know those leaders are staying single file until the last second. 1.2
Absolutely.
seconds now. Hang on. It's around 1 second. It's a little more than 1 second. He's getting awfully close as Moultrie.
They're moving up slowly, bit by bit. If they can make up a few more
1.1.
tenths, they'll be within the draft.
So close to having the draft. So close to catching up. 7 laps to go. The drama, the suspense, the hype, the tension is all building. There you see everybody in one shot, more or less. 1.1 seconds.
It's closing up.
1.0. That's it. That's going to be draft. He's going to start closing in. You see he's going to start leaving the 34 car. Moultrie has got to run now. He's going to start leaving Boundy.
Here they come.
Officially inside of a second. That's what they needed. This is going to be a race to the end. Look at them close up.
They're going to catch them. What is this front pack going to do to defend? What will they do? We got 2 lap cars behind the lead 7.
The best thing they could do now is scatter. Are they going to? I don't
They're
think
going
so.
to.
There goes Moultrie.
Up.
There goes Moultrie now.
Up.
There goes Millett up. Moultrie swerving, slicing, dicing down to the bottom of the racetrack.
All back together now. It's a fight to the end. Coming to the line. 6 to go at the line.
Dalton Tucker leading the race. 5 laps to go, that time by. 95 of 100 complete, and it's all going to come down to these last 5. Michael Matta just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 44.486.
Matta back in 14th. He's been up front all race long except for now. What can he do in these last 5 laps to get up front?
One car down low, it's Mendenhall. He swerves back up, nearly into the 29 of Moultrie.
That slows Moultrie down huge. He's falling through the pack. He's stuck in the middle. How? Correa's going to pick him up. We're 3 wide, 3 rows back.
And the 42 car, the slower lap car, is going to take the bottom. Here comes Peterson on the outside of the 52.
Big bump to the 32 from the 89 of Brashfield.
One car down low into the pit lane. We keep racing, 4 to go.
Grant Peterson back at the front, running in 5th.
He's going to push Millett now around the outside. That was 4 to go in the stripe. We're closing down quickly. The top side, that's going to be Millett, Peterson. That's going to be Brasfield. And then here we go. Howell moves up. Big crash. It's the 34. Boundy around in the wall. No caution.
The wreck up front. There's going to be a caution. They're all around.
I saw Wirtz is in it. Oh, big hit from
There's
McColgan.
more after.
Peterson. Not Peterson, that's Montgomery.
Moultrie got a huge hit from the 32.
Chaos, and this is going to set up a green-white checkered.
I was just about to say these drivers are looking a little squirrely. I could barely get the words out of me, so much was going on.
Peterson was involved. There you see Bounty in the background. We'll leave that. That was pretty cut and dry. What happens up front? Oh, the 32 got hooked.
Looks like a move by Grant Peterson. Something happened around there. Around the 32, 29, in that area.
It's a big crash.
That's huge.
We're going to say that's the big one.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Take another look back. Check out what really happened here. Looking along.
I'll slow it down.
A little bit of a checkup in that top line.
Braswell gets into the 32 with the right rear right there.
Yep.
And that brings the 32 up the racetrack into Peterson, into Wirtz. Spencer Ray is right there. Spencer Ray is going to get a piece of it. That checks up into Dalton, into Joseph Tucker, into the 2 car of Quentin Lee.
Man, the 29 almost made it out of this. 32 was sideways. He had nowhere to go.
That sweeps up Correa as well.
Yep. Man, a lot of good cars taken out here.
A lot of good cars taken out is an understatement. Was that Dingler, though, sneaking on through? Hang on.
Was it?
Let's go on board.
He's on the bottom here of 3 wide. The wreck happens in front. He dives them down below the yellow line. In the grass a little bit. He's still straight.
Wow. Hang on,
he hasn't made it
get through the
yet.
rest.
Oh, there's Matta. Ah!
Oh.
He did make it. Man, Matta almost got him at the end, but Ryan Dingler makes it through, now sitting 8th.
That swept up 3 of our 4 Driver of the Day vote contestants. Ryan Dingler is the one to make it through.
Well, what do you know? That's awesome.
Let's check it out for the 88 car of Michael Matta. Saw that he was involved. Montgomery was involved, and they all just start piling up into turn 3. Matta down low. Spencer Ray got a piece, comes down. Oh, Kevin West comes up into Joseph Tucker and Michael Matta. That puts the 88 in the wall, collects the 2 car of Lee. Wow. Let's ride on board with the 61 car.
Man, they were all over the place. I was really waiting for when it was going to happen. We saw the 34 go around in the back. That was a single incident. We stayed green, but right when that happened up front, a little bit farther down the straightaway, we saw this.
Well, stick with us here for a moment. Having a slight technical difficulty through ATVL, but I think we're going to make it through. So we'll catch back up to the race leaders here. And we are lights out.
Well, Correa's still in the pits. Michael Matta's still in the pits. Daniel Half is still in the pits. Grant Peterson. All of them from that crash.
So excuse us while ATVO reboots. Everything went haywire on the racetrack. It's going haywire in the broadcast booth now. But set us up here. What is the rundown out front now, Scott?
Well, we're green-white checkered, so let me explain that to everyone real quick, that we have 3 attempts here. We've run into overtime. We're going to have 2 laps at the line. A green lap, a white lap, and the checkered flag. When the leader takes the green, we'll have 1 lap of green. If we get back to the white lap and take the white flag, if a caution comes out, the race will end. If the caution comes out during the green, the first lap, we will re-rack them and restack them and go for our second attempt at green-white checkered. If we run through all 3 attempts of green-white checkered, in the final attempt, if there is a caution in the green lap, the caution will end the race, but only on the final attempt.
Quick little rundown of green-white checkered overtime rules. We're going to watch this restart. We'll have continuing coverage. We're not going to lose coverage at all. We're going to work on getting graphics back right here at the end, but we are into overtime. 2 laps to go, this time by Dalton Tucker down low. Peyton Howell up high. Into the Geico restart zone. Millet and front apple pushing. Green flag is back in the air. Down the back stretch, 2 laps to go. The opportunity, it's here. This is to win at Daytona to open up the season. The bottom line is strongest. Howell falls back with that damage on the right front.
Cars coming from the bottom, trying to split to the top. Still a little bit single file. And Mendenhall left out to dry there on the top. He'll fall back to Peyton.
Big crash.
Caution out on the speedway.
Masadi and more.
We'll re-rack him again and go for it one more time. A second time.
And that halts our progress just a little bit. Going to extend this race one more time.
Let's take a look at it.
Oh, we're going to try.
Coming back, we were coming through turn 3 and 4. We were very close to taking the white flag, but we did not before the caution. Something happened back in the mid-pack, probably a stack up.
This is all the way back to the restart. We're going to watch this first lap back.
The 11 of Peyton of Howell was really slow there on the top. It must be that aerodynamic damage he acquired earlier from the pit lane incident.
Yeah, he's okay pushing, but he does not seem okay leading.
No, I don't think so. Bottom line got out. 6 cars free.
Watch this 49 car in the middle of your screen. That's Anthony Masadi. He's a big part of this. They check up on the bottom. He checks up and gets hit by the 07. Jeremy Brown gets into his left rear. That spins him around. That was right on the back end of Ryan Dingler, who gets through again.
Dingler's okay. That's all I was worried about. Dingler's okay.
Oh, Matt Sherry on the wall on the
really
inside.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. Big stack up coming to the line. Well, we'll go for it again, Andrew.
You know what else we're going to go for again? We're going to go for a graphics reboot. It's really getting us here at the end. So apologies there.
We were so close.
I really thought we were going to be okay. I rebooted it. It was okay for the restart, and here we are. The joys of broadcasting. Oh, we can watch this from the blimp at least. Holden McGill is going to be the race leader, and fuel is going to come in to play for these guys. Some of these guys that pit a little bit early, they're going to have to pit again.
Interesting. We saw a group come about 2 or so laps earlier than the rest of the field, right along with Peyton Horn right now, and I'm seeing he's shutting it off. So a lot of drivers out here shutting it down, trying to save some fuel, clutching in.
So Peyton Howell and others saving fuel, doing what they can to stretch this out. This will be our second attempt at a green-white checkered.
Current leader Holden McGill also clutching in and coasting.
Well, this all sets up for Bristol next week. There'll be 250 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway, race number 2 of the season. That's where we're headed next, and boy, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some more green-white checkered action there.
Oh, absolutely. It's the modern madhouse, some might say. I would say that. The last great Coliseum, it is the place to be for motor racing, short track racing. It's my favorite personally, so there's going to be some heat-packed action.
Well, make your pick now out in the chat. Who do you have for this last restart, potentially last restart?
Who do you have for driver of the day? Make your picks. We got 2 laps left.
Holden McGill is going to lead us around. You see the ticker there on the left side of the screen that's showing you where everybody is. McGill, Terrell, your front row. Then Matt Lovett. And it looks like, is that Andon Mendenhall on the top side? Or
Yes, he is,
rather,
running in fifth position.
Christian Light actually on the top side. He's going to restart 4th. Andon Mendenhall down low. You see these guys saving fuel on the bottom of the racetrack.
Hoping for this to be the last one because I don't know if a lot of these cars up front will be able to make it past a second attempt here at green, white, checkered.
See on the bottom right of your screen the overtime rules. 2 laps, a green lap, a white lap, and then checkered flag to end it. If the green lap is completed, the race is official. If the green lap is not completed as we saw the last time, we'll restart again. After all attempts are exhausted, a caution can end the race. We'll leave this graphic up as the restart starts. We'll see exactly who ends up where. Coming back around to get another chance to end this race one more time. A big shout out to those who make this race, this broadcast, this championship possible. SimRat Market, Apex Sim Racing, IMB Racewear, Moser Racing, RS Button Boxes, Team Conti, Track Bar Media, The Butt Kicker, Extreme Graphics, and Cyber Edge Hosting. Green flag is coming back out. Green, white, checkered, overtime attempt number 2. Holden McGill, the race leader. Matt Lovett, second. Then Andon Mendenhall on the bottom side. Here we go. There goes the 20. He's getting pushed around by the 96. Here comes Peyton Howell on the outside.
A little bit of a squeeze play. 96 is being shuffled. There's a bit 3 wide in the middle.
4 wide at Daytona. This can't last.
They're bouncing off each other. They're going around.
There they go.
Huge crash in the backfield. They're still wrecking.
Spencer Ray, big hit. There's the caution officially. We are not ending this race just yet. One more attempt at the very least. Well, it is one more attempt.
These front runners immediately saving fuel. Man, 4 wide out of 4. It was not going to work. Peyton Howell was unable to hold it there. Down on the second lane from the bottom.
Well,
it was over before it even began.
I'll tell you what's doing it to graphics. It's these overtime attempts. Every time we get a caution for overtime, it seems like it just freezes the graphics up. I've never seen this. Oh, man. Well, apologies there. It seems like ATVO is just having a fit with these green-white checkers. I'm going to reboot graphics again, and we should be good after that. And as long as there's time in the caution, we'll get a replay of that crash. But I can tell you that's what's doing it. Is, for some reason, the green-white checkered attempt, every time it changes the laps, that freezes graphics. So you see these guys are down on the flat. They're saving fuel down there right now. They know they're close, and this might have pushed them to where they can't make it.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. If we even have 2 laps here, 2 laps, it's going to be close. I mean, last time we pitted, Holden McGill last pitted 27 laps ago. And in Mendenhall 24 laps ago. Gary Bowman 25 laps ago. So a lot of these top 7, Ryan Dingler 28 laps ago.
We've seen these drivers go about 28 laps before. Beyond that, I'm just not so sure.
Well, looking at it, we saw Dalton Tucker was up at the front of the lead on that last stint before our big caution at the backfield. He pitted before the last restart because he was almost out of fuel, so he's in 15th. Your first car that can absolutely make it is the 01 of Kevin West. Pitted 8 laps ago.
All right, let's see if we can get a look back at this. You work with me here. I know it shows green flag. We'll turn that back off. Let's see if we can go look back at the crash. Hang on.
It was a wild one for sure.
All right, this will be going back to the restart, and we will have ourselves a look finally at this crash. So bear with us, bear with us. Yeah, here we go. It was out of turn 4, right?
It was. 4 wide out of turn 4 here.
So we'll ride with them around. This is a replay of that previous crash to hold us up.
Meanwhile, drivers still lifting and coasting here up at the front. So the current replay, you're seeing what caused the previous caution. Coming out of 2, bottom line, 3 abreast, out front, single file. Looking at that white car on the outside line is the 11 of Peyton Howell.
He got
that white
squeezed
car.
up, then went down low. 4 wide in the middle.
Right there. Howell got slow, got squeezed up, made it 4 wide, and it was over.
I really wish I had better news here, but I guess we'll just crashed again.
Graphics.
Yeah. This is going to be something to submit to ATVO because this is getting to be a little too much.
We're about to come to the green for lap 109 of now 110 of a 100 lap scheduled race. So this is our last green-white checker attempts, and viewers, that means that if there is any caution whatsoever, that will be the race. So this is it for sure. This is the final restart for sure.
And once again, we won't lose coverage. We'll see everything that happens. It just won't be quite as intended. So apologies here. This is out of our control. So this will be an ATVO conversation for sure after this, but we'll work down to the Geico restart zone and get this race restarted for the final time. One more attempt at finishing this race.
Will anyone run out of fuel?
Into the Geico restart zone. Holden McGill down low. Matt Lovett up high. And in Mendenhall giving that 25 a shove. Green flag back in the air. Final green-white checkered attempt. Mendenhall looks high. Lovett looks with him.
Already getting swirled. The 08's around.
There goes everybody.
Huge crash. Caution is out. Holden McGill is out front.
Holden McGill is going to win at Daytona. That's it. That is all she wrote. We told you if a caution came out on the last attempt, that would be it.
And in Mendenhall was so close.
There you go. Holden McGill will be your race winner here in just about a lap. Unbelievable way to finish this race.
I have terrible news.
What's that?
Dingler was involved.
Oh, no.
I know. He was running 5th.
Well, we'll try and get a look back. Under normal circumstances, it would all be working properly, just like the rest of the broadcast. So, apologies here. This has been a little frustrating for us to deal with. I'm not sure what the problem has been, but all week we've been having problems with ATVO. Break the fourth wall down a little bit. But I don't want to take away too much from Holden McGill's moment. This is a race win for Holden McGill. He started this race from second place, Scott. Second place. And he's going to go to victory lane.
He fought strong all day long. We saw him drop back to the back. Didn't want to be a part of the mess, a part of the craze. Pulled the pit strategy off right. He pitted later than everybody else, was able to stay out here. Stretched it to, he's still got fuel. And he's 31 laps from his pit. Tells you how much he's been saving. So,
and here he is officially to cross the stripe. Checkered flag, car 25.
Holden McGill. Great job. Deserving win. Your first race winner of season 2.
He'll park it down at the bottom of the racetrack, and I'm assuming wait on the field to go by before he celebrates. Driver out of Carolina. There's his teammates lining up with him. There's Grant Peterson. Here comes some more. Grant Peterson pulls alongside. Peterson, McGill pushed Peterson to the dual race win last week. So it's only fitting that the driver who started second this evening pushed a teammate to a win in the duel, ends up going to victory lane tonight. Leading on the final restart, the crash happened in the back, and the McGill Camper Sales, number 25, will go to victory lane.
Much deserved. I mean, again, he fought hard all day long, played the pit strategy right. Save fuel. So, great job, Holden McGill.
He's out of gas. That's what it is. I've just realized. He's got to be out of gas.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is. Well, what a victory celebration this is.
I think Peterson is trying to get him going.
Hilarious.
Maybe he's got some gas.
There we go.
Maybe he's got a little bit in there.
No, he's getting pushed. He's out. He's out for sure.
He might have had just enough to get the car restarted.
Yep. Well, that tells you he's out just enough.
Unbelievable.
Just enough. Oh, he's got a little bit enough for a burnout.
He wanted to push back so he could do the burnout. I think that's all he had.
Oh! Now he's out. Maybe. I think he's out now.
I think he's out.
Teammates coming back again. Oh, Grant Peterson.
Well, let's run through your unofficial race results then. Holden McGill with the race win in car 25. Andon Mendenhall, second place. Matt Lovett, third. Colin Terrell, Peyton Howell, your top 5. Alfie Sharon Jr. with the top 10 this evening. Nathan Paris, Russell Black, Jeremy Brown. How about Jeremy Brown from the first caution and all that damage to being involved in a couple more, ends up 9th place. Brandon Frohnapple, 10th.
Then back in 11th, we'll have the 4 of Cody Ellis. He was also down at one point. A few laps down from some crashes. He made it up. Then the 2 of Quentin Lee did very well tonight. Then the 6 of Christian Light. Saw him up front at the beginning. He had gained 31 positions. Now back to 13th. Then the 89 of Ian Brashfield in 14th. And in 15th, the 49 of Anthony Muscati. Then in 16th is Ryan Dingler, the 16. So he was in 5th, got involved in that last incident that brought out our final caution. Then in 17th, the 08 of Gary Bowman. 18th, Matthew Taylor. 19th, the 34 of Sean Bounty. And rounding out your top 20 is that 21 of Tucker.
Finishing 21st this evening is Zach Millett in the 31 car. We saw a lot of him tonight. Matthew Montgomery ends up 22nd, just hanging on to the lead lap. Kevin West falls down to 23rd spot, 1 lap down. The only car 1 lap down. Then Michael Moultrie 2 laps down in front of Hank Caston, who just hangs on to a 25th spot. Daniel Wiles, Spencer Ray, Grant Peterson, Matt Sherry, Edward Jurgen, all of these guys finished 4 laps down after that big crash down the back straightaway to bring out the last restart.
Rounding out this back half of the field is the 32 of Daniel Haff. 28, Casey Knighton in third, and in 33rd, Matthew Correa. Saw some huge front runners take big hits in those big wrecks. The 50 of Brian Rusi, Joseph Tucker, Austin McLaughlin, Michael Matta. Man, saw him up front, finishes 37th. Brian Wirtz, Sean Lodison, and finally in 40th, Austin Cooper.
Couple of cars here at the end. Stephen Kirby ends up 41st after a wheel disconnection. Jackson Sparks and TJ Moore did not make the start of this race. Holden McGill gets pushed around to the front straightaway, but let's go back and talk with our race winner and more here. Just unbelievable stuff. Well, we were going to anyways. Go back and take a look. Want to also mention, driver of the day was decided. It was Ryan Dingler in the YouTube chat with the driver of the day nomination. So congratulations to Ryan Dingler winning that. If he couldn't finish there at the end, he can at least take driver of the day. So props to him. There's Ryan Dingler, even after the crash. But let's bring in our race winner, Holden McGill, after it's all said and done. 100 and extra laps, what was it, 106, 110, something like that. Holden McGill, you go to victory lane in Daytona. That's got to be the best feeling of all. Those last few restarts had to be terrifying. Anything could have happened, but here you are at victory lane.
Yes, they were, and that was the most stressful, I guess, final lap under caution I've ever had, because when I started the lap, I only had, it was telling me half a lap of fuel left. So we were struggling coming back around, and when I crossed the finish line, I think I only had like maybe 0.15 gallons. So yeah, it was a stretch.
Well, it's certainly good to talk to you with this high of a situation around you, but it could have turned awry so quickly. How close were you at a couple of these points in this race to being swept up in these crashes that we saw throughout the course of the event?
I got decently close to that big one in turn 3, but just let off and was able to slow down in time and just kind of pick through it. So wasn't too bad there. Other than that, it was just a lot of chaos around, but also a lot of very good racing. This was a very good race, all things considered, even with the wrecks.
Absolutely a very good race. Only a few crashes, mostly on the back end of the race. But this sets up for a big week at Bristol next week, and it moves you towards the playoffs as well, which is a good thing for you, and it really sets your season up well. How do you try and get the rest of your team now to victory lane, beginning at Bristol and whatnot?
Yeah, we'll work on some stuff, try to figure out the best way to run the tracks, just try to practice a little bit and help each other out as best we can. But I mean, they're all more than capable of getting there. We just gotta put in the work and get a little lucky sometimes.
Well, Holden, it's good to talk to you once again. Congratulations on the second place in the duel last week and now first place here in the big thing.
Thanks, bud. Good to see you.
Holden Miguel, it's good to talk to us at the end of the day. I think that's fair to say, right? That means you're usually in the top 3 at the end of the day. So, good deal there for Holden Miguel. We'll go down and look for Andon Mendenhall. And this might be a little bit of a search, actually. There's a big Discord here for the series. We've got to search for Andon Mendenhall. I don't see him. So what we'll do is bring you third place. Remind me who third place was.
Oh, that was Matt Lovett, 41. He is in here. Down in Extreme Esports.
Let's bring in third place then, Matt Lovett.
Well, hey, Matt Lovett, finished third. How you feeling?
Feeling all right. How did it look from up there?
Oh, it looked good. You ran a strong race tonight. Talk me through. I saw you late in the race. You were up with that top 7 that saved fuel, that pitted, and y'all were up running 7 abreast, running single file. How did y'all do? How did you save fuel to be able to get up there with that pack?
I wouldn't say that we really saved it. It's just the fact that we didn't take nearly as much in the last one, which is why you saw Dalton and them have to, on that second, I think it was second green-white checker, they had to go down the pit road to get more fuel. Luckily for me, I took 1 extra gallon just to be safe.
Well, that 1 extra gallon got you this third place, 33 positions up from the start. So you ran a great race tonight. Talk me through starting from the back, getting to the front.
It was mainly just riding around for the first 75 laps. In all honesty, this is not my type of racing. To me, it's just boring. Just to sit back there and wait. You knew it was coming. You knew the wrecks were going to happen. So it's really hard to pass at this track. Just with the package and everything, you just can't really get the momentum like you used to. But it was mainly just patience and biding my time and waiting.
Well, even though it's not your favorite third place finish, we're going to Bristol next week. What are you thinking about there?
Going from a super speedway to a short track, that one's going to be a little different. I don't think we're only going to have 4 cautions at that one.
Well, I hope that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse, because if you can get a third place finish from something that's not your favorite, I can't imagine what you'll get from something that is. Matt Lovett, third place finish tonight.
Thank you.
Always good to talk to these drivers when everything is said and done. We'll move Matt Lovett back down with his teammates. And Scott, we can wrap this thing up. What a day at Daytona International Speedway to open up this beautiful season, beautiful scenes, beautiful sights here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's look one more time at the full season schedule. Daytona, Bristol, COTA, the first 3 races. The first 4 couldn't be more different, right? You got a super speedway, a short track, a big road course, and then a 1.5 mile intermediate track, 2.5 miles back-to-back, another short track at Iowa, another drafting track at Atlanta, then down to New Hampshire, which is almost a short track, Indianapolis, a speedway there for race 9. This is a wild schedule all over the place, every different direction.
Well, whoever picked it out, they did really well. It's a great schedule, set of diverse tracks, different styles. You got Sonoma in there in the playoffs. Love Sonoma. You got Auto Club. You got Kansas, Talladega, Miami, St. Louis, Richmond, Pocono, the tricky triangle, Darlington, one of the toughest tracks to tame. So great job by admin here picking this great schedule. And it all starts next week with Bristol.
It all starts with Bristol. Well, thanks for joining us this evening at Pit Stop TV. It has been a pleasure. Daytona out of the way. Holden McGill to victory lane. Let's take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Next up, we head out to Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval for the Icon Cup Series. That's going to be a bunch of fun, turning left and right next week. Going to be an exciting race and a big part of these playoffs for the Icon Cup Series. You do not want to miss it. Then we head out to the Myrtle Beach 400 with the Sarah 1-8 Racing Media National Tour before we close things up for the next week of action anyways at Bristol in a week's time. And wouldn't you know it, we're trying to close the broadcast and ATVO just is not working for us this evening. So what we'll do is bid you all farewell. Thanks for tuning in, and that will be it for us from Daytona this evening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching through. Thanks for supporting Pit Stop TV. We'll see you all next time.
A new wave has formed for Season 2, an epic tour that ends with a new legacy. The OGs are back, ready to defend their legacy, while fresh meat joins the competition, eager to make their mark. Who is willing to battle door-to-door and conquer 2024? Buckle up, because the season of a lifetime is among us.
Here we go. Who's going to get the better restart? As we come on lap 100.